All right, welcome to the team, everybody. Grab a seat, let's get comfortable. Today, I'm stepping into the role of your senior consultant, and we are going to treat this explainer as a vital, no-nonsense coaching session. Our core goal today is absolutely clear. We are calibrating your professional AI risk judgment skills. Look, we're seeing organizations everywhere just rushing to adopt AI, but without the right strategic oversight, well, AI risk is literally just enterprise risk waiting to happen. So we're going to break down exactly how to govern it effectively straight from the source material.
Okay, let's just do a quick flyby of our roadmap. We're going to kick things off with the AI risk trap, then look at integrating AI into ERM. After that, we'll dive into clinical AI risk realities and banking on AI governance to see how this plays out in the real world. Finally, we'll wrap up with your actionable AI judgment checklist. Sound good? Let's dive in.
So, part one, the AI risk trap, covering common failures in AI governance. Now, before we start looking at solutions, I actually want you to reflect for a second. Try to think of a specific scenario from your recent work where AI governance felt totally disconnected from the rest of your organization's strategy. Did it kind of feel like AI was living on an island? Well, if so, you've likely fallen into what our sources call the AI risk trap. Let's unpack the specific failures that actually cause this. All right, look at these first two critical anti-patterns. First up, tracking AI risk outside of ERM. ERM, or Enterprise Risk Management, is basically your organization's main engine for tracking big business threats, right? When you track AI risks in a separate, completely isolated AI dashboard, your main enterprise risk register just misses it entirely. The board reporting doesn't even mention it. Leadership is left flying blind to the big picture, and your AI risk is vastly undermanaged. Second is inconsistent methodology. I mean, if you assess AI risks using completely different scales, definitions, or escalation thresholds than all your other organizational risks, it causes absolute chaos. You literally can't compare an AI risk to an everyday operational risk if they aren't speaking the exact same language. And, this brilliantly illustrates the core problem right here. On one side, we have siloed AI risk. It's totally disjointed, the thresholds don't align with the broader business, and nobody is clearly in charge. It's a mess. On the other side, though, we have strategic clarity, integrated enterprise risk management. Over here, AI is mapped directly to standard enterprise categories. It uses your organization's standard high, medium, and low scales, and crucially, it guarantees board-level visibility. Moving on to the final two anti-patterns. Number three is having a risk appetite without enforcement. You might have this beautifully written statement, but if high-risk systems just get approved anyway because some business unit cries out that they desperately need innovation, well, your governance is completely useless. The rules just fly right out the window for the shiny new toy. And number four, this one is huge. Integration without ownership. You might actually succeed in getting the risks into the main register, but if no clearly named owner is genuinely responsible for monitoring or mitigating them, the risks never get managed. Integration creates visibility, sure, but without an owner, there is zero accountability.
Okay, part two, integrating AI into ERM and how we actually fix these anti-patterns. So how do we fix this? Well, as your coach today, I'm telling you the answer squarely lies in establishing a top-down strategic framework. We really need to stop treating AI like some kind of magic and start treating it exactly like a standard enterprise function that demands rigorous oversight.
And it all starts right here, your risk appetite for responsible AI. Listen, this isn't just some fluffy mission statement. It is a hard, formal tolerance threshold. According to the source frameworks, it has to explicitly address fairness, transparency, and stakeholder impact risks. Your governance bodies must be held strictly accountable for monitoring compliance with this appetite. When a business unit starts pushing heavily for innovation at all costs, this statement right here acts as your ultimate tiebreaker in those governance discussions. Now, let's talk documentation, because the golden rule in the consulting world, right? If it isn't documented, it didn't happen. To make your AI integrations genuinely traceable and defensible for the board, you have to nail these specific requirements. You've got to document that board-approved AI risk appetite statement. You must maintain a living risk register that actually shows how risks are assessed and mitigated. AI has to be integrated into your regular standard enterprise risk reporting. And crucially, for absolutely any significant AI risk, you must maintain hard evidence of who owns it and exactly how they are executing the mitigation strategy. All right, let's move to part three. Clinical AI risk realities, or what I call life or death governance. Let's see how this whole framework builds out in a super high-stakes environment. We're going to look at a scenario pulled directly from the sources, featuring a hospital chief medical officer who's integrating AI into her clinical risk framework. In healthcare, getting governance right is literally a matter of life or death. Just listen to the gravity of this board mandate. The hospital has zero tolerance for AI systems that make final patient care decisions without clinician review. They accept medium risk for diagnostic assistance, but only, and this is a big only, if they include sensitivity data. That means hard statistical proof of how accurate the tool actually is. Plus, they require a provider override capability. You guys, this is what a real, heavily enforced risk appetite looks like. It leaves absolutely no ambiguity. It takes a broad concept and translates it into very direct clinical patient safety rules. So, to actually enforce that appetite, the hospital locks in specific patient safety controls for every single deployed AI system. They require total transparency about the AI's involvement in any recommendations. Clinicians absolutely must have override capability. There's rigorous safety monitoring, adverse event escalation, and really strict bias monitoring across diverse patient populations. And they rate these clinical risks using their existing standard hospital methodology, the likelihood of harm multiplied by the severity of harm. Let's pivot a bit. Part 4, Banking on AI Governance, looking at financial risk integration. Here, a bank chief risk officer is integrating AI into strict, globally recognized financial frameworks like Basel III and COSO. Basically, the ultimate industry rulebooks for keeping banks financially stable and honest. The stakes are definitely different from healthcare, but the governance logic, it's exactly the same. Take a look at the similarities and the differences in this risk appetite. They accept medium risk for systems enhancing efficiency, provided there is solid human oversight. But look at that bottom line. The bank has zero tolerance for AI systems that create discriminatory outcomes. They also have zero tolerance for failing regulatory transparency requirements. Just like our hospital example, it sets a very hard boundary that business units just cannot cross, no matter how fast or efficient the proposed AI model might be. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is just how incredibly concrete it gets when you look at a literal enterprise risk register for the bank. Notice these categories: operational, compliance, regulatory, strategic. An unexplained degradation in a credit model, that's an operational risk, and it's owned by the chief risk officer. A disparate impact in a credit system, that's a compliance risk, owned by the chief compliance officer. Abstract fears about AI are mapped directly to specific, standard enterprise categories with clearly accountable owners. Listen, if you take absolutely nothing else away from my coaching today, make it this one thing. AI risk is not some mythical separate entity. It is operational risk, it's compliance risk, it's regulatory and strategic risk. The real secret to success here is mapping AI risks directly to standard enterprise categories and rating them on your standard high, medium, and low scales. Seriously, do not reinvent the wheel. Just make the AI fit the wheel you already have. All right, home stretch, part 5, your AI judgment checklist, calibrating your professional oversight. We're going to walk through a highly practical checklist right now to help you evaluate task risk versus AI capability. Evaluating task risk versus AI capability is absolutely crucial, especially when you're dealing with common AI failures, like hallucinations, right? Where a model might just confidently invent fake legal citations or completely fabricate financial statistics out of thin air. Consider this checklist a direct challenge to your professional oversight skills. So here's your first checkpoint. Ask yourself right now, can your organization accurately compare an AI risk directly to a traditional credit or operational risk using a completely consistent methodology? Like, do they appear on the exact same dashboard? If you have a separate AI dashboard just sitting off in a silo somewhere that the board isn't even looking at, well, you are failing this checkpoint. Checkpoint 2. Are your governance bodies actively referencing your written risk appetite when making system approval decisions? Is that appetite statement a living, breathing enforcement tool, or is it just a beautifully formatted PDF sitting in a shared drive gathering digital dust while business units launch high-risk systems? It has to be the tiebreaker. Checkpoint 3. For every single significant AI risk currently in your register, is there a clearly named owner held accountable for mitigation? Remember those anti-patterns we talked about earlier. The crucial point here is accountability. Visibility without ownership is a massive organizational failure. Someone's actual name must be next to that risk, and frankly, their performance metrics should reflect it. Which brings us to the end of our explainer. Building mental connections between this theory and your daily practice is honestly the fastest way to internalize all this knowledge. So I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought. Go look at your enterprise risk register today. Based on everything we just covered, from killing off separate dashboards to demanding hard proof against AI hallucinations, enforcing zero tolerance appetites, and assigning named owners, what specific changes do you need to demand before the end of the day?
Look, don't let AI risk manage you. It's time you start managing it. Thanks so much for learning with me today.